Hello and welcome back to another video. So if you've seen the title, which you probably have if you clicked this video, I have a small modification to do on the David Brown 850 here. So it's actually something I got online. I have the parcel here and it's actually inside the parcel. So we'll go and open it and I'll show you what I got. Okay, so the package, what did I get? We'll find out. So this is it. I don't know if the camera is able to pick that up, but it's a little sort of, well, it's called a document holder. It's an anti-tamper design, rain resistant, self-sealing construction, tough, durable, polyethylene material. So it's like a plastic. It's supposed to be rain resistant, all that, and it's supposed to be anti-tamper, so it's supposed to be fairly strong and be able to withstand some impact. But the reason I got this, this is my insurance disc. I don't want to show too much of it, but this is the insurance disc for the Brown. The insurance disc that's on it is an old circular tin. It's made for a tax disc, but it's a circular tin on it, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I've been looking for 2 years for a square insurance disc holder, or a document holder as this is called. But I've been looking for 2 years and I could not find one. And I just bumped across this online. They had the measurements online, so I measured the tax disc, and the tax disc is slightly it's slightly bigger, but I'll only have to fold it up a very little, about 5 mil of the insurance disc I'll have to fold for it to fit in this. So it's actually was basically, I was looking all over the internet, all over the world, for a tin like this to hold the insurance disc, and I found this on a website based in Ireland. So there you go. So we'll put the insurance disc in it, and then we'll stick it on, and we'll put it onto the 850 there. Okay, so on this, you open it from the top, and I think there's rubbers and stuff in it. I think so, but I don't know which way I have to put this on the Brown. I might have to put it up that way, or that way, or that way, or even at an angle. So I'll probably just put the tax disc in it temporarily. Or will I? No, I'll put this back in. No, we'll go over to the 850 now, see what way we'll have to put it on, and then I'll put the tax disc into it, precisely depending on what way I need it on the 850. So let's head over to the 850 now. Okay, so that's the circle tin I was on about for the old insurance discs. It's a pain to put a square insurance disc into a circle disc holder that's probably made for a tax thing, because the tax disc is circle. But we now have this, and I'm just going to figure out what way to put it up, which way it should be better. Will it be better that way, or will it be better this way? And I might also have to make that hole a bit bigger. So let's see if it's there. I could put it back up there. I don't think I'm leaning on concrete here. I could put it there, or could I put it? What looks better? I don't know. Maybe I could put, no, it probably won't fit nice there. No, it won't. So the only options I have is that way or that way, and then I'll have to put the insurance disc into it accordingly, whatever way I put it on the Brown here. Okay, so I played around with it, and I believe that might be the best option there. I'm covering up all my policy number and details like that, because I don't know if I should be showing that online, so I'm just going to cover them up just in case. So I guess what's next to do is to get a spanner and take this off, and then put the new square proper insurance disc and disc holder in replacement of this old one. So let's go and do that. I think it's It's either a 17 or a 19, so we'll go and get a spanner. Okay, I got this spanner. It's actually a 16, so I'll put the camera down somewhere and I'll take that off and I'll stick the new one onto it and we'll see how it looks. Right, so you can see the hole there and you can see the bolt there. So I need to make this hole slightly bigger. So I don't know if we have the cordless drill in the shed, or does the owl man have it in his Jeep. I can go and look. If we don't have anything to drill it with, we'll have to do it later on when we get our hands on something that will drill the hole for us, but we'll have a look anyways and see what we can find. Okay, so the owl man has he has the cordless Bosch drill with them, so we cannot make that hole a bit bigger. It's a bit too small. We just need to make it slightly bigger. But I screwed the bolt back on, and when I was looking at it, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it's all sort of diesel and oil and greasy looking, the engine bay, and the bodywork is all sort of dusty. And since it's a good day outside, I might bring it out and give it a clean, and that way that'll give us a good clean sort of surface here, free from any dirt, oil or diesel, for the new insurance disc holder. So everything will be kept clean. So yeah, I think that's what I might do. I might bring it out and give it a clean. Now she's cleaner than what she was. So now this tractor isn't a working tractor. It doesn't really do much jobs on the farm, if any. It's more for like agricultural shows and vintage shows and stuff like that. So just say there's a vintage tractor and vintage car show, then we would sort of wash it and polish it all up, make it look as nice as we can, and then we'd bring it to the show as a display. It'd be like an exhibit tractor, and I'd be the exhibitor, and it'd be there for along with other tractors on a display. You know, like any other sort of vintage tractor show, or even like in the ploughing, where they have all the vintage stuff or even the newer stuff on display. In a vintage tractor or vintage car show, it's just vintage tractors and vintage cars on display, and that's what this would be. It would also be used for like vintage tractor runs. So like you might pay 10 or 20 euro to get in to do a vintage tractor run, and it'd be like for some sort of charity or cause, and then you'd have a rake of vintage tractors then on the road doing their little run. I haven't yet been on a vintage tractor run, but I would like to, with this yoke obviously, because it's my tractor. But I have brought this to a vintage tractor show, so I have one thing ticked off my bucket list, and now I want to bring it to a vintage tractor run. So it's looking more cleaner. I don't know if the camera is picking it up. There's still water lying on it, so when the water's all dried off, you'll probably still see some dirty stuff on it, but I was more focused around the engine bay here. I was more focused around the engine bay here, because right here, this is the oil filter, and we serviced it there about a couple of weeks ago. I didn't make a video of it because we had guests around, so I didn't want to be taking out the camera and recording and all that sort of stuff. But the brother serviced it, and when we took this off, a load of oil poured down over the engine block here, so it was all oily and slippery there, so I got that cleaned up. But there was also a lot of dust on the wings and on the bonnet and stuff, so that's obviously gone as well. But you obviously cannot see it on the camera because it's probably not picking it up as well, but it's still fairly wet, although I missed the spot there, fuck. And also on the other side here, it was all sort of slippy, slimy from changing the diesel filters. Obviously a bit of diesel got onto that, so I was just cleaning that up as well, and it just needed to be cleaned as well. And plus, it's now given us a cleaner surface to put our new insurance disc holder on. So there's no dirt or grease, grime, oil, diesel anywhere on the surface now. So that was another main thing I was focused on, because I wanted to clean it basically for that as well. But I let it drip dry there. And if I was bringing this to a vintage tractor run or a vintage tractor show, I would probably go over it with the foam gun a couple of times. Now, the foam gun, that was my first time actually using the foam gun. Usually I'd have a bucket of warm water and a bit of a rag, which you've seen in the video, and then I'd dose up the hot water in the bucket with some Fury Up liquid and get it nice and bubbly and stuff, and then go around it with the rag. That's what I would usually do. But that foam gun, you just spray the foam on it, you go over it very quickly with a rag, and you wash it down with either a power washer or just a hose pipe. Now, I probably could have used the power washer, but I only used the hose pipe and an old nozzle, because I was afraid it would upset some of the rusty patches here that needs to be sort of patched up. I know I didn't want to be bringing in the power washer, washing this down with the power washer, and then a load of paint then just flying off because of the rusty patches, which needs to be fixed, because there's rusty patches, just patches here and there that need to just be polished up and replenished with a bit of paint. So yeah, as I was saying, if I was taking this to a vintage tractor run or a vintage tractor show, I would go over it with, usually I would use the bucket, but obviously that would take a very, very long time. So I decided to use the foam gun today, spray it down with foam, give it a quick wipe with the cloth, and then wash it down with either the power washer or the hose. But I don't know with the hose because I'm after telling you why. But then if I was going to a vintage tractor show or a vintage run, you're probably tired of me explaining this, but I would do the first foam, wipe it, wash the old foam down, and then I would go over it again with the foam gun, scrub it down, and then hose it down. And then maybe might go over it again a third time, but I would definitely go over it twice with the foam and wiping it down and all that if I was bringing it to a show or a run. But I think the foam gun done a pretty good job, so I'm pretty happy with how it looks. We'll wait for the water to dry further, and then we can actually get a proper look at it and get a proper perspective look at it of how clean it actually came out with just one coat of foam on it. But yeah, I probably would want a couple of coats of foam and then obviously scrubbing and washing it down and all that. But it just needed that little clean to get all the dust and the bird's poo, the diesel, the oil, and just any dirt that may have been on it. It just needed to have a good wash because it hasn't been washed in a while, so it needed that wash. But now moving back to this, I have the insurance tin under the side, but what I could do is just get a drill. It's not a lot. It doesn't need a whole lot bigger hole. It just needs the ever so slightly bigger hole in it. It's just that bit too small. I mean, if you compare it to the hole in the tax disc, it's, there's not a lot in the difference. It just needs to be bigger by a small bit more. But the Owlman has the cordless drill. We have no pillar drill or milling machine anymore to drill that, so we can only use a cordless drill. And we have one, but the Owlman has it in the back of his Jeep wherever he's working today. So I'll have to wait till he comes home, and then I'll get it and I'll drill that hole bigger, and then we can put it back on the tractor. Right, so when the Owlman came home, we drilled the hole bigger in the insurance disc holder, and I bolted it on. We done all that off camera because there was just too many people here. There was one of my brother's friends over there slobbering with alloys and wheels and all that, so I couldn't really take out the camera and start recording everything here. But it's on there now. You can see it's sort of fitting all right. It's obviously clipping it there in the bottom right hand corner, but it's all right. It's still fitting there perfectly. It's not as fitting as smoothly as the circle one that was on it before, but you can see there that it's all right. It's doing its job. You can still see the tax disc, you can still see the insurance disc, so all is good, and that's that. Now the Owlman did point out to me that there's bolts here, and I could bolt it there, or I could bolt it there. And I know these bolts and that bolt, and then you have some there, you have one there, and you have another one there. That's holding up this sort of steel frame. But loosening one bolt just to put on a disc holder wouldn't do much harm, because I'd be bolting it back on. So because they're not fitting smoothly over the far side, I might swap them over and leave one of them over the far side and put one of them here. I think the insurance disc might suit better here, because it'll just fit more snugly and smoothly rather than having the two of them squeezed over in the far side. But we'll leave them where they are now, because the tax will be up now in the next month, so I'll have to be taking it off anyway. So when I'm changing over the tax, I'll might swap them over. I think because of this little curvy thing here and the wire there, I might move the insurance disc over the far side and leave this maybe the way it is. I can also lift this up a small bit so it's not sort of being awkward down there. But anyways, I have to change the tax in it next month. So when I do that, I might take off the insurance disc holder, and I might put it on this side. As long as it's being displayed, as long as the insurance and tax is being displayed, it makes no difference. So I could put the insurance one there and leave the tax one there. But that's the little upgrade I done, so that will be the end of today's video. If you liked it, please give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe and turn the bell on to be notified of every future video. and I'll see you in my next video very soon. So take care.